Welcome to this, our third episode of Memory Unlocked, the show that gives us some space to talk about the suddenly rediscovered people, places, or things that have been stuffed in the corners of our minds for ages. I am your designated podcaster for today, Mr. Marc Boucher. Now, this whole Memory Unlocked situation we're going to talk about today actually happened a couple of months ago for me. I just so happened to be browsing the web on my phone one day, and I found that this particular day was the birthday of one actor named Carl Lumbly. Now, you may not recognize that name. Who is Carl Lumbly, you might ask? If you don't know his name, well, you probably know his face and his voice from some other projects. Carl most recently played the role of one Isaiah Bradley, the super soldier on the popular Disney Plus and Marvel Studios show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You wanted to know what went wrong. A handful of us got shot up with different versions of that serum. But they don't tell us what it is. They tell us it's tetanus. They sent us on missions. Even though the others weren't stable, some of us started dying off.
You might also know his wonderful bass voice in the role of J'onn J'onzz, aka the Martian Manhunter, from the animated series Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, which ran from 2001 to 2006.
We first encountered them 1,000 of your Earth years ago. It was a golden age. Our Martian civilization was at the height of its peace and prosperity. And then they arrived. Where they came from, no one knew, but they were determined to make our planet their own.
But when I hear Carl Lumbly's name, when I hear his voice, see his face, I remember that his superheroing days go back farther than 2001. I think of M.A.N.T.I.S.
This is the scientific journal of Dr. Miles Hawkins, to be made public in the event of my death. I know when the truth is known, people will wonder why I felt it necessary to create the Mantis. In reality, I never did. The Mantis demanded his own creation, and I could not refuse him.
Yes, M.A.N.T.I.S, which is an acronym, stands for Mechanically Augmented Neurotransmitter Interception System, which they then changed later on when they went from the pilot to the series to Mechanically Augmented Neurotransmitter Interactive System. It was a television show that aired on the Fox network for only one season. Now, this show is credited as the first television show featuring an African-American superhero main character. Carl Lumbly played the main character of Dr. Miles Hawkins, a man who was paralyzed while saving a girl from the bullet of a sniper. He develops this augmented suit, which not only allows him to walk again, but also possess super speed and strength. The suit also contained these paralyzing darts that helped Mantis subdue his foes, and so it's kind of like the sting of a mantis, if you will. The show was actually developed by Sam Raimi, yes, that Sam Raimi, as well as Sam Hamm, the writer of movies like Batman '89 and Batman Returns, which I am a personal fan of. So Sam Raimi and the guy who wrote Batman, they're making a TV series about a vigilante superhero with incredible gadgets and this really sweet flying vehicle. And so you could see how I could be excited for watching this show when I was a kid. So obviously my inner Batman fan was super stoked at the idea of this show. Now, the look of the Mantis and much of the characters and premise actually changed from the original pilot, which I had personally never seen, to the actual full series. They shot the pilot separate from the full series. In the pilot, Mantis actually wore a suit and trench coat, which was kind of an homage to Darkman, if you've ever seen those movies, and had the mask that they ended up using for the series, but he had an exposed head versus the bald cap that they used later on. I think at some points he had a like a hat on of some kind, but in the regular series that I remember, Dr. Hawkins actually worked with someone else to develop and maintain the suit while Dr. Hawkins would use it. This point man, or the man in the chair, if you will, was John Stonebrake, who was played by actor Roger Rees. You may not recognize that name, but he is a very prevalent actor from the 90s. You would probably know him best as the Sheriff of Rottingham from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
The bad news in a good way. Yes, I can do that. Yes, bad news in a good way. Yeah. Well, here goes. Wait till you hear this. I just bumped into Robin of Locksley. He's back from the Crusades. You know, he just beat the crap out of me and my men. He hates you and he loves your brother, Richard. He wants to see you hanged. We're in an awful lot of trouble.
So Hawkins' base of operations was actually called the C-Pod, which was located underneath his home, and his futuristic flying vehicle that he used to fight crime was called the Chrysalis, which, if you take a look at the Chrysalis, it kind of looks like the futuristic Batmobile from Batman Beyond. So again, more Batman ties. So as the series progressed, it began to bring in a much more fantastical, I guess, series of elements like alternate dimensions and time travel and things like that, which didn't really resonate with the viewers so much. The final episode, spoilers, has Mantis being thrown into the future where the technology used to create the Mantis suit is used for nefarious purposes, thus creating a post-apocalyptic future. Mantis also ends up fighting an actual invisible dinosaur that had been released from icy captivity. That is quality television right there. The show, sadly, was canceled and ended in 1997. And there you have it. The history of a short-lived show about a paraplegic scientist developing an exoskeleton to fight a war on crime.
The cops are trying to frame him.
There's a murder warrant out for the Mantis.
And a super criminal is out to exterminate him.
Give me the firepower I need to bring this vigilante to justice.
Will this evil army finally destroy Mantis? Get serious. Mantis, part of Fox's all-new November, Friday.
If you want to check it out, the show is streaming on Hulu as we speak. Of course, if you want to check out more of our stuff in the GMG universe, just go to the one link to rule them all, linktree.com/thegmgpod. Congratulations, you've just experienced another Memory Unlocked.